Well, hello and welcome back to Castlegoat and to Gnomoria and to two new nomads. It is the first day of summer in year 7 and we have two nomads. Oh, fantastic times. We have Hickley and we have Fimblet. What an awesome name, Fimblet. But let's have a quick look. Hickley, reasonable stats. Actually, they're all fairly close. You've got a decent construction skill, but you've got quite bad military skills. And we also have Fimblet, who has, actually quite impressive stats. Well done. And a very strong mining skin. I'm not sure that we're going to be going for another miner, considering most of my military now do mining. But Chaoticles has, of course, already spoken with me, and has revealed that Hicklet, or Hickley, shall become hypothetical axolotl. There we go. Have I spelt all that right? I would be surprised if I'd spelled all that right, honestly. But there we are. If I've spelled it wrong, feel free to laugh at me and then promptly shout at me and I will correct it in the next video. Next, we've got Fimblet. And Fimblet shall be Liberal Eagle. There you go, Fimblet. Now, I'll have a look over your professions in just a moment. But first, yes, go ahead, get indoors. We're working on a lot of things, as you can see. We're working on the trap system there. There's much to be done. But first, we are actually in version 0.9.11. And this is a very, very important version, because this number now has significance. Mant workers now prioritize stealing food and will leave if food has been stolen, as with goblin raiders. Mant now spawn solely off your food and drink stocks, and that is what I'm tracking there, Mant laws. They are now completely unaffected by kingdom worth, which is really what it should have been. Or that makes sense. They don't care about our material wealth, our statues, they just want the noms. Now, the craft 2 setting in the prospector has now been set so that it'll craft down to that stock, as you would expect. In fact, on that note, let's go ahead. Ooh, hello, merchant fellow. Come on into the foot. Let us go and change this. Right now, we're going to use up all of our basalt. Let's tell them to always keep at least 128 basalt. And actually, on that note, let's go ahead and put sandstone. I will never make anything with sandstone, so I may as well go ahead and set that up. Also, let's craft down to 128 dirt clumps as well. So if we've used up all of our sandstone, if we have crafted so much raw basalt into slivers that there's only 128 or less raw basalt left, then you can start working on the dirt. But I want at least 128 of all of them, of any of them, except for sandstone. Well, that's actually quite useful. It always was quite confusing, that one, so I'm quite pleased that that's been set up that way now. Also added a smelt 2 setting on the smelter, which will continue to smelt items until the stock levels are at or below the setting value. Now, that is really useful for us, because up to now, I've basically had to say, well, I had to wait until we had at least enough for example, tower shields that were above poor quality before I could add poor quality tower shields to the automatic smelt order, because I wanted to always have at least one, or at least enough for my soldiers. I didn't want their stuff to be smelted, but now I'll be able to tailor that specifically. You may notice that we have the iron anvil there for the weaponsmith. I will be setting up the armor smith off camera in just a moment. Additionally, the training grounds skill ups now work so that while sparring, gnomes will gain skill in their equipped weapons as well as the weapons that their sparring partner are using. So, for example, these guys are all going to get gun skill ups when they're training with Archstow. Lizzie and Soprancy will get axe skill ups when training with Troll of Reason or Elsendorf, and so on and so forth. And now that's actually pretty useful. Spectators now also gain the skill in their equipped weapon and not just that of the gnome sparring. So I'm not really sure how that one works. Like, for example, why would Archstow be getting better with his gun, watching Lizzie and Soprancy belt the living daylights out of each other with enormous shields? But still, it's appreciated. As you can see, I have replaced the red there, the white with nice blood red stones all the way down. That was a suggestion in the comments, and I approve. It is a very good suggestion. Now, this area could probably do with a little bit of explaining. Firstly, the trap system is going to dump any unfortunate people caught in it into this zone. Now, there will be stairs down there, and this area will all be sealed off. But what this will allow us is, first and foremost, our enemies are going to generally be here. We're going to be able to attack them with ranged units, so allow our ranged units to get some actual combat experience if they haven't had much already. But if for some reason I feel, well, it's been a while since my actual military, because the traps hasn't been so efficient, been a while since my actual military really gotten involved in a fight and thus increased their skill level that way, because you do get significantly higher skill ups from actual combat. I would like them to fight what's left. They've been softened up by my archers a little bit, or perhaps I just feel that it's not particularly honourable. These enemies fought a fantastic fight, and they deserve to die as warriors with weapons in their hand, facing the enemy rather than killed from miles away by people with guns. This part is going to be a trickle system. Now, note I'm saying trickle, as in water trickling in a brook, not tickle, as in the thing you might do in sexy fun times. And what we're going to use here is a series of pressure plates which otherwise pass power until they're stepped on. The ones that we're going to be using up here will specifically block power until stepped on. So these are going to be reversed. Behind them will be trapdoors. This will be a mechanical wall which will be activated by a lever, and it will lead into an arena of sorts where our standing melee military will be ready to welcome the guests. And effectively what will happen is a large group of enemies here. Perhaps there's lots of two-headed ogres, and I want my military to fight them, but I don't want to fight them all in one go, simply because I don't want to have to replace their armor, for example. Then what will happen is, as the enemies are given the option to walk through here, they will have already seen my military across this, so they're going to be trying to get to them. The first person will step on a pressure plate, which will dump everyone behind it, or at least directly behind it, into a manhole. And then they will have to walk back up the stairs and go through the system again. And there'll be a series of these pitfall traps leading to the arena. So effectively, by the time that the first goblin or Mant has gotten all the way through this, they'll be on their own. Or perhaps there'll be one or two of them if they were keeping pace. But generally, it won't be a huge swell of enemies all moving as a single column. Those ones are going to be going through again and again. They're going to be split up even further, and so on and so forth. Just gradually trickling in the enemies in manageable groups for our military to deal with. And that's why I've got that little corridor there, and why I'm expanding this area out so much, because I need them to be able to walk back up there. But that is going to be worked on for quite some time, I imagine. Now, with all of the news out of the way about the update, I'm probably going to be pausing the recording to get some stuff done very soon. I'm going to need to change some of the stockpile options over here, considering this is now going to be using up to 3 different materials. But we finally have these fields there. Fantastic. I was quite concerned that it was going to take a very long time for that to get done. So let's go ahead and undesignate that strawberry field. Remove designation. Now, at some point, I may go back and put a cotton field there as well, so we'll have 2 little plants. It'll look like a nice little flower arrangement there for the carpenters going to and from work. But before we go, I want to show one thing. I was looking at the bedrooms and to try and test whether we had a lot of gnomes that didn't have rooms. I simply clicked on this. And I was looking also for any that had 2 rooms, since we've been assigning quite a lot. And it looks like we actually have very few of our total gnomes without rooms now. I am very happy with this. It has been a long time coming. And once we've got everyone out of the dormitory, we're going to have a dormitory, I think, because the merchants will sleep there. And the ambassadors obviously have their own rooms. But once we have that all set up, I'll make a small dormitory, and I will make a large, properly lit and designed hospital area for our dwarves, and that will be a very nice time there. But I just wanted to show you that we are making progress. Ooh. See, I'm starting to get wise to you, game. There was this moment of lag just a few seconds ago, and it was a noticeable chunk of lag. And that has come to mean to me that we have an invasion force on the map. Either that, or the water is trying to do crazy, crazy things in my canals down there. But usually it means there's an invasion force. Okay, perhaps we're not going to say goodbye just yet. Let's... Are you the only one that's going up there? Yes, you are. Okay, well, you're about to meet terrible times. I think he was just literally murdered straight off the bat. Oh, no, no, he is alive. I thought he'd literally just been one-shot by that man. Well, I should go and help him, really, but... Oh, no, they ignored him. Oh, happy days, merchant. You survived. I actually feel a little bit better about that, because I was thinking, oh, this is terrible that I'm just letting him die. This isn't honourable at all. What are we doing in this kingdom? But no. Farewell, merchant. Very fortunate that the Mants really don't care about you. But this is interesting. I want to see exactly how many Mants 1,400 Mantlors brings. Though if this is anything like the goblins, this will be based on when they set off, not when they arrived. But I'll have to check that. Now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, we've got 10 Mants. That's really not going to be a problem. But I'll keep you here for the combat anyway, since I've got the combat going. And get in there. And also let's send out our other attack force, the Might Ringers and the Rumoured Strikers. Go forth for great justice. Have I rung? Yes, I've good. The alarm is set. Even though I don't really need to ring the alarm, because at this point there's no risk of anyone trying to run past the Mants to reset the traps. Ringing the alarm does mean that everyone wakes up. So I've got everyone involved now. All of my squads are there. All of the people with guns are shooting. And they are making ridiculously short work of this. Goodbye, no merchant. Wow, you are brave. They must have an agreement with the Mants. But there we go. That really did not take long. Troll of Reason, are you alright? You're in good health. What about Dwarf? Have you fallen over? Yes, Dwarf fell over, bless him. But there we are. Mants are really not that much of a problem anymore. Alright, let's go ahead and ring this bell. Just so that, as you can see, this is why I don't bring you back mostly for Mant fights. Though it is worth noting that now that the spawn has changed, there may be times when we'll have ridiculous amounts of Mants. And that was a little bit of a concern there. But it doesn't seem to have affected it too much at the moment. Let's repair these doors as well. But before I do anything else, let's just check events. Make sure I didn't miss one of our guys dying. That would be tragic. No, we're fine. And Kingdom. Diplomacy. Do we have a land for the Mants? No. No, we don't. Okay, well, that's fine. Right, off screen, I am going to go and do some trading. I will also have a look at our 2 new nomads and decide what jobs Hypothetical, Axolotl, and Liberal Eagle shall have. And when you return, I shall let you know. And hopefully we'll have done a little bit more work there, or perhaps a little bit more work up on this roof up there. Also, I am preparing this area to be able to put some torches on the inside of these walls, because that little dark spot is just annoying. But I shall see you in a few minutes. And welcome back. As you can see, some things are going on. We're still cleaning up after a bit of a difficult goblin battle. It was difficult mostly because of how long it took than the actual fight itself. Though it did show me something, and that is that the fights are starting to get a little bit too close. If it weren't for the fact that I have a secondary alarm bell that I can ring in here, I wouldn't have been able to ring this bell, because I really didn't notice. My fault, I suppose, on that one. They managed to get through most of this trapsism before I even realized what was going on. Rang the bell, and by the time that anyone was trying, they were already here, and things were going a bit awry. So it made me realize that when I replaced all of this, I got rid of the You Shall Not Pass guard area. Now, that is possibly not the best thing for me to have done. We don't have any means for our Poisonous Ancients to really bar the way and keep this area protected. So I'm thinking it is probably time that we rebuild that guard area. And as you can see, I've replaced some of the floors and I'm slowly rebuilding the walls. The limiting factor at the moment is merely how long it is taking to get all of the blocks. Now, we want another guard area. Oh, no, really? Oh, it's because of the clean floor. I'll take that away for now. Oops, I just redid it, didn't I? Yes. There we go. Now, we want to designate a guard post. And as comical as the You Shall Not Pass guard station was, I think we need a different name. Now, wow. Let's see. What shall we have? No, it shouldn't be Q. This will only be set up when I need the Poisonous Ancients there, but given that basically everything in the fort that wants to attack our guards, our fort must pass through this tiny little... I know, we'll call it the Thermopylae Passage. There we go. The Thermopylae Passage shall protect the fort. Poisonous Ancients, like the 300, like the Spartans, shall bar the way to any intruders, except those that manage to tunnel in or get some sort of ticked off gnome who hasn't had his own bedroom for too long, tells them of some secret way in, probably through the mines. Damn those undapper gnomes. No, I'm sure we don't have any gnomes like that in Castlegoat. Everyone is happy, and besides, everyone almost has their own room, actually. We're not that far off. I've prepared this area, but again, the lack of blocks at the moment is really slowing everything down. So I'm just going to let the gnomes get on with other work that doesn't require basalt blocks and allow those to increase. I've also decided on and have begun preparing an area for our tailor and loom to move into. On that note, let me go ahead and replace this floor with engraved marble. There we go. This will all be basalt. The walls will be basalt, of course, but again, waiting on that one. In the meanwhile, I have been continuing with the work up here. We are almost we're very, very close to having this area all sealed off, actually. I'm very happy with that. I'm using 2 torches in here, and I've used some logs to give the impression of support beams, where the floors would have been quite long. But this, I'm not sure what I'm going to do in here, but I didn't feel like just filling it in with stone, just because it was a space. So I decided I'd make a little way up there, and this will be an attic of some sort. Perhaps even I could use it as storage at some later point, should we ever have so many things that we need to store there. Though, ooh, that's really not good. We are out of musket rounds. Is this because of you, Staplers? I can't imagine that it would be because of you. Let's make that a priority 3, and this one also a priority 3. It doesn't really matter for you guys, but since these are the only things you'll work on. Actually, no, let's make this a priority 2, because our weaponsmith and armorsmith do, I believe, smelt as well, so I don't want it competing with those jobs. That is, I don't want these jobs to take a back seat to smelting works. Now, I think we do need some redundancy. Oh, are you working on it? You have a piece... Oh, fantastic. Just as I was starting to panic, you come to the rescue. That is amazing. Well done. Well, if you can restock that steel, that will be good. I may have to consider, though, maybe setting up a permanent production of some backup bronze, or maybe even well, no, not backup iron, because if I've got iron, I would like it made into steel. Hello, love slave merchant. But perhaps a backup supply of bronze wouldn't go amiss. In fact, let's see, how many weapons do we have? Have you finished your work? No, we're still waiting on the bronze battle axes. Alas. So perhaps setting anything up for bronze right now would not be the best idea. Let's just check out. Do we actually have enough? We've got 1 copper bar, some tin bars. The copper is being used up quite quickly, unfortunately, in producing our rings. So for the time being, that is a little bit of an issue. But I think what I will likely do is I will set up a backup bronze musket round production. Let's go ahead and pop that in there, and we'll craft it to the same amount. I won't store those over here, though I probably should. It's the problem with musket rounds. They don't go into any crates, which is honestly a little bit odd. I feel that they should. But we'll think of some neat place to put the musket rounds at some later time. Maybe even up here. Maybe this will be our ammo storage. Rather large area to store our ammo in, if you ask me. But when needs must. Progress on this is, again, slow due to having to wait on bricks. Do I have a door to build there, though? I think I may. Let's see. No, we do not. So I need to queue that up. And of course, that is even more basalt being used. Damn you. But for the time being, I think I will be passing a fair bit of time while I wait for a number of the projects to be done. Namely, I want our battle axes finished off so I can have my slayers properly equip themselves. Following that, we are continuing to dig down, looking for more and more copper as we go. If we zoom down, we've found a little bit there that we can mine into, and I'm also starting to work on this area. We are starting to get fairly deep down now. We're on -8. -10 is where things are really going to start getting interesting, though. So that is where I will probably pause for a moment and maybe even build some sort of outpost. Maybe off on a room, or perhaps this shaft will end at -10 and I'll dig a larger sort of area down here, some sort of outpost, and have the mine shafts moving off, and then have a new mine shaft just displaced over here somewhere going down, because then I can have some sort of central guard post or training grounds that protects from the much stronger things that will be spawning down below that level. I think at -10 we will start seeing skeletons and golems at the very least. We're unlikely to see the very powerful golems, I believe. I think they'll still be dirt, clay. But once we start seeing the stone golems, that's when things get difficult, because stone golems get much more powerful, and Robobob's also thinking about adding metal golems as well. The bonus being that when you kill a golem, you get the material it was made of. So, you know, there is a bright side to that. Unfortunately, it comes on the other end of a remarkably heavy punch from, for example, an iron golem. Also, further down, you will encounter things like zombies. Now, zombies will be an interesting thing to deal with, because if a zombie bites a gnome, they become infected with the zombie virus. It doesn't kill them, it has no negative effect to their health, but should they die, they will reanimate as a zombie. So it's very similar to popular zombie plagues in film and literature these days. It's not the sort of thing that will just outright murder you once you're infected, but or murder's the wrong word, kill you. But once you are infected, that is it. There's no going back, there's no cure, and when you die, you will become one of them. So yeah, we'll probably want people dealing with them entirely coated in armor. I'm not sure how strong zombies are, but I don't want to find out by learning that Sir Prancy has been bitten by one, honestly. But I think that is about wrapping up time for this episode. It is going to just be time now for me to pass time waiting on things to be built. I am really glad that this is nearing completion. And I've been thinking, I'm not sure if I like the basalt blocks there. Perhaps I should use brick. Perhaps I should make it a brick color instead. I may experiment on this side, and we'll see which of the two I like the most. Let me cancel this job and replace it with brick. Though at this point, we're actually even running low on brick, because we're using it so extensively now. We want to build a wall. We want it to be decorative stone and made of brick. That should do. Place that there. We'll see which of the two sides looks better. If it does end up being brick, I will of course replace those. And we still need to build some more workshops, but these will be for the gem cutter and the gem setter. The jeweler's workshops will be there. I am more than likely going to be building our tinkering workshops on this level, perhaps dug into this wall back there somewhere. I may even perhaps make a door so that there's a fast track for them to get into their bedrooms, considering they're just over there. Or perhaps I can even have it connect back here. That might be an idea. But that is it for me. I'm afraid I'm going to wrap this episode up here. So I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope you'll be joining us in the next. But from me and the gnomes of Castlegoat, do take care.